Let me ask you first. So when people say thank you for your service, like, how do you feel about that? Because it's not that I feel weird saying it, but it's like, thank you for your service. It's something that's just so often said. You kind of go, always just go, thank you. But is that something veterans like to hear? Thank you for your service? Or does it really depend?
It depends. Some veterans are really against it. They don't like hearing it. It makes them very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Some veterans like, oh, it's no big deal. I look at it like this. There was a time in our country where the average American wouldn't say that at all. I'm speaking of the Vietnam War. And in fact, the sentiment was quite the opposite. So I didn't live in that time and serve in that time. So I can't imagine what that was like. One other veteran told me something that I think that I aspire to is when someone says that, I say thank you for being the kind of American worth fighting for.
Mm.
And that really kind of closes the loop, right? They're not expecting that back a lot of times, and it makes me feel good about hearing that. So that's how I choose to do it. If you have the wherewithal to walk up to me and thank me, okay, fine, great. I served here, there, nowhere, but I did do it. I want to thank you for thinking of us.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, of course. I mean, I think veterans are severely overlooked in this country. Like, I'm sure you followed like the burn pit victims, like John Stewart was over this past
Yep.
summer. How much all the
Yeah.
hoops he
Yeah.
had to jump through, and he's a comedian. That only happened because John Stewart is a man of prominence and a man with an audience and a following, and he kind of just badgered Congress time and time again to get people health care for the burn pits. So, thank yous are all well and good, but like, benefits are better, which is something I would say.
Well, not handouts, right? Benefits, handouts, it's the, let's go back to Vietnam and Agent
Mm-hmm.
Orange. It took years for the government to finally admit that Agent Orange that was being sprayed in those jungles were causing not just problems with the guys who served, but their children and sometimes grandchildren. So, if you're going to put us in those situations knowing this stuff is bad, like the burn pits, then you got to, be there to fix it, because those burn pit victims, reading about their stories and meeting some of them are just, they're never going to be the same. Their quality of life will never be what it was. And it's the least we can do. It's the least we can do in this country to take care of those people.
Yeah, you'd think it would be the bare minimum, right? You risk it all for what? To be
Yeah.
disrespected. And it is sick. We're gonna get more into it and what you do in the VA and what that happens. And it's not all doom and gloom. There is plenty of bright spots. I mean, my sister-in-law works with the VA, and she has stories
Okay.
of some of her veterans, and she's a social worker, so she really kind of gets to the nitty-gritty and helping them. Some of the really ones who really need the most help. So there's plenty to go around, but